Hello everyone! So I know I don't normally post videos on Saturday, but I wanted to get this one up today because this is talking about all of the garden walks that are happening this summer in the Chicagoland area, so both in the city and the suburbs, and they start today. So I wanted to make sure to get this up there and the schedule up there so that you can plan your summer and not miss any of these garden walks that you might want to attend. Also, this is making videos a little bit out of order, but you will see Nanette behind me being planted up in the next video coming out on Monday. So I have put together a spreadsheet because I love putting everything I can in my life in spreadsheets. But I made a spreadsheet of all of the Chicagoland area garden walks that I was able to find with the help of someone on Instagram who I think was putting a list together for her garden group. But there are almost 30 on here. There will be a link also in the description to access this document. So it'll have the name, the location, the dates. If there was a website, I linked it in here as well so you can find more information, but you'll be able to click that link and view this document. It is view only for anybody who clicks the link because I don't want someone to go in there and either change or mess up or delete everything. But if you want to make your own copy, just download it. So go to File, Download, and you'll be able to have your own version of this. Also, if you were looking at this document and you see any errors with the dates, with the names, if there are garden walks you know of that I've left off of this list, please let me know and I will make sure to make those changes or add any additional walks. So what I'm going to do is just run down this list, starting with the ones that are happening this weekend and then going through what's the last date on here. End of July. So June and July are the months for garden walks typically around here. So let's start off with the Old Town Art Fair and Garden Walk. This is today, June 8th, and tomorrow, June 9th. Some of the garden walks are 2 days. I think the majority of them are only 1 day. This is in the Old Town neighborhood of Chicago, and I went last year, I think it was, and it's great because there is a bunch of art available to purchase. There are a bunch of different artists. It's really cool. And then there are some beautiful gardens kind of surrounding the area where all of the booths are set up for the artists. So I highly recommend that. This weekend also is the Lyle Garden Gate Walk. That is just the 9th. So just on Sunday, that is in Lyle, Illinois. Then we have the Champaign Garden Walk, and that's going to be June 15th, and that is Champaign, Illinois. Not a garden walk where you walk around with champagne, although that would be a really fun idea. That should exist if it doesn't. Next is the Irving Park Garden Club Walk. That is June 22nd. That is in the Irving Park neighborhood of Chicago. Arlington Heights Garden Walk is the 23rd of June, also in that neighborhood in Chicago. Evanston Garden Walk in Evanston, Illinois. That is also the 23rd. In fact, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 all happening on the 23rd. So Arlington Heights, Evanston Garden Walk, Park Ridge Garden Walk in Park Ridge, Illinois. Oak Park Garden Walk in Oak Park, Illinois, and Libertyville Garden Walk in Libertyville, Illinois. So either you're going to be driving around to all of those or pick the ones that are closest to you. Then we have the Libertyville Garden Walk. That is June 29th in Libertyville, Illinois. We have the Frankfort Garden Walk on June 29th as well in Frankfort, Illinois. Then we have the North Center Garden Walk. That is the next day, June 30th. That's in Chicago. The Wilmette Historic Garden Walk, that is also June 30th in Wilmette, Illinois, and that one I think is a little bit different. It's not like a neighborhood garden walk. I think it's a tour of just a few historical gardens, like a guided tour, whereas typically on garden walks you're just kind of walking in and out. In fact, if you haven't been to a garden walk, I'll give you my experience at the end of this list. So then, going into July, so everything I just listed so far was in June. July, we start with the Crete Garden Walk, which is July 11th and 12th in Crete, Illinois. Bowmanville Garden Walk, which is on July 13th only. Bucktown Garden Walk, which is one of my favorites. That is July 13th and July 14th, so 2 days. And typically, you'll be able to see the same thing either day, whichever day you go. Then we have Edgewater Glen Garden Walk, and this is July 14th. And I believe Edgewater Glen, this is one where they do half the neighborhood each year. So if you went last year, which we did, we saw half of the neighborhood, and then this year is a different half of the neighborhood. Then we have Elmhurst Garden Walk and Fair, also on July 14th in Elmhurst, Illinois. Roscoe Village Garden Walk, also on July 14th. And then we have the Sheffield Garden Walk on July 20th and 21st, which is my neighborhood's garden walk. So my garden will kind of be on the walk. No one can get up here, unfortunately, because there's no outdoor access and you can't get to anyone's garden unless you can access it from the street. I do have my pots out front. I have some other stuff that I'll be putting out front. I'm going to make giveaway bouquets. I'm going to try to decorate the front as much as possible. Last year I also did a PowerPoint of my gardens up here. So we will be on the garden walk. I won't be there necessarily because I'm also working the garden walk, so I will be running around the entire neighborhood. But there are some seriously stunning gardens, like gardens that I couldn't even have dreamed of in the neighborhood. So I highly, highly recommend that you come to that. I'll give you more information in just a second. Then we have the Darien Garden Walk. That is just July 20th. The Forest Park Garden Walk, just July 20th. The Mokina Garden Walk, also just on July 20th. So I guess if you're going to go to ours, you can choose either day, but some of these again are just one day. Then on the 21st only is the Beverly Garden Walk, the Dearborn Garden Walk, the Midlothian Garden Walk, and the final two on this list are the Ravenswood Garden Crawl, which is July 27th, and then the Graceland West Garden Walk on July 28th. So again, there's a link in the description of this video that goes to this document so you can find more information and see this schedule. Download it if you want to be able to edit it and make a copy for yourself, and then let me know if you see anything missing or if there are any issues with the dates or information here. Now, all garden walks will probably be a little bit different. The ones I've gone to, the Edgewater one, the Bucktown one I've gone to for years, that's the one I've gone to the most. Our neighborhood's garden walk, obviously I'm familiar with. Typically, what happens is that there will be a map and you just guide yourself around to the gardens. People will leave their yards open. Sometimes there will be people at the houses, like the owners of the gardens, and you can talk to them. Sometimes they won't be. Like again, on ours, we're gonna be running around. So you can just like kind of walk through and look at the plants that people have. But what's exceptionally cool about the ones in Chicago, at least in my opinion, is that usually there's not a lot of front yard space. Like in a suburb, there's usually sprawling yards. You can see everything from the street. Here, it's usually like sidewalk, maybe a little bit, and then the house, and the houses are really close together. So you don't know what is behind some of these buildings, and there are some fantastic things. I don't know if I have any photos of the other places last year from the garden walk from our neighborhood. I'll post them in here if I do have any, because they are incredible. People are doing incredible things, but I also don't want anyone to think that you have to have something incredible to be on a garden walk. Again, mine are just a bunch of front pots, and I got compliments on those last year, and giving away the bouquets people really enjoyed. So even the small gardens, because I think that's actually more inspiring to people, because anybody feels like they can do that compared to something that, you know, maybe is maintained by landscapers and costs a lot of money. That's not, I mean, it's cool to look at, but it's not necessarily something that you're like, oh, I can recreate this at my place. So just keep that in mind, that there is a good balance of all different types of gardens. I would think for the most part, usually they're free. Now I know for ours with the Sheffield Garden Walk, and I'm pretty sure for the Bucktown as well, if you just wander around the neighborhood, there will be signs on the front of the people who are participating, so you know whose garden you can go in and whose you shouldn't go in. But if you want a map which guides you around, it's like a $10 donation. And again, I think for the most part, these are all run by nonprofits. So for example, for ours, it's our neighborhood nonprofit. If you do get a map for $10 or just make a donation, that goes to our nonprofit so that next year we can do even more for the garden walk. So I am really excited about this. Oh, let me give you some more information specifically on our garden walk, just in case you do want to come. So it's July 20th and 21st from noon to 5. So that's when people will have their gates open, unlocked, for you to walk through their yards. And then on just July 20th, I think it starts at 10. From 10 to 1, there's a family fest at Oscar Meyer School parking lot. Anyone can go. This isn't just people in the neighborhood. So you have to be in the neighborhood to show your garden, obviously, but you don't have to be in the neighborhood to come to any of the events. There's a family fest. It is free. There's going to be live music there for kids. There's going to be, I think, pickleball for kids, maybe some bouncy houses. I might be making that up. But for everyone, there's going to be like food trucks, ice cream trucks. It's going to be a really fun event. So I highly recommend coming, specifically to ours, but to any of these that might be of interest to you or nearby. Let me know if you've gone to any of these other ones before, because I would love just knowing more about the different neighborhoods. And I think that's it. I feel like this video was kind of just thrown together, but I wanted to get this information out there ASAP, just so you don't miss any of these walks. So again, information will be linked down below to get to this spreadsheet. And I think that's it. Let me know if there's any issues accessing it, if you have anything that should be added or changed to the spreadsheet, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.